Okay, in this lecture, I'm going to introduce mostly lines. By the way, this is your file number 2, yeah? It's just your file number 2 under your course folder. So the first line 2 that I'm going to introduce to you is polyline. By symbol, it looks like this, yeah? It's pretty straightforward. So what the polyline does, whenever you click on a 2, you always want to read your command line which says start of polyline. So start and ask for next point, okay, next, and just keep asking for next point, right? But then it also says press enter when done, and basically I press enter when I'm done. It's very simple, but on the other hand, at some point maybe I did a mistake. I want to go back just one step. You know, sometimes it's like you did everything correct, but suddenly you made one mistake and then press undo. If you totally want to cancel the command, press escape on your keyboard, escape. So that's this one, to draw a polyline. And there are many other options of polyline, but one option is line. By the way, line is different than polyline. So when you click on line, which is, these two are most important. All the rest, we don't need to know too much about it. So if you click on your polyline toolbar and expand it, the first two are important. The second is your polyline. The first is line. So the line will allow you just to do individual line. You won't be able to continue. You can, although, connect to the end by snapping to it. You can actually connect your polyline by snapping to it. But polyline and line are different, yeah? So let's say they sort of look the same, or I could draw a line such as this. Just press enter and repeat the same command as line. So what happened, these two kind of look the same, but they're not the same. When you click on it, the polyline will be selected all together, and the line is individual segment. So just make sure that you understand there are two of them are very important. One is line, one is polyline, under the toolbar of polyline. So the next toolbar is curve. We pretty much only need to use the first one. I mean, there's some other interesting stuff there too. Yeah, but mostly only the first one. Or if you don't want to expand your toolbar, you can just click on it. That's the one. Yeah, so the curve goes like this. As you can see, there's some dots. Yeah, by the way, I should probably use another display mode and it would look so much easier. So it's this curve. Yeah, the curve, as you can see, they're points, but the points is not on the curve. They're called the control points. So once you're done, you should press enter. If you don't like, you press escape. If you want to go one step back, you press on undo. So that's to control the line. Press enter when I'm done. So I have a line like this, yeah? Okay, the next one is interesting, is helix. So the helix sort of looking like, you know, well, looking like this. But on the other hand, you may want to say, okay, this is not really the direction. The direction I want is go upwards, yeah? So what do you do that? You probably have to click on the toolbar and expand the toolbar and go to the tool that you wanted to use. And then what you do is you probably could go vertical. By the way, you won't be able to really go 90 degree. I'm using my other view, you know, because if you use a wrong view, you won't be able to create something like this. I think is I should go use any of my elevations, basically front view or right view, and then I'm clicking on any point. If you want to, you can also snap to probably, you know, one of the really just kind of on the ground. So, and then you can go all directions. You can go this direction, but maybe that's not what you want. Maybe what you want is you go vertical. If you try to go totally vertical, you need to press on shift. Yeah, shift will lock you to the real vertical direction, or otherwise you could also use the orthographic, but we recommend that you don't use the orthographic, you just press on shift. Yeah, that will lock you to 90 degree, and then you can click and just drag. So that's one of this, and this will be one of your homework that you should produce something like this. And the second one is using, could be sparrow, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it's sparrow, yeah? You do the same way that you did with the helix. I kind of like to do it on the ground, you know, so of course that's not required. You can always move, so maybe I'm just doing it below the ground. And then press shift and then drag a little bit, and the first drag is the bottom radius and the second drag is your top radius. So of course you can do something like this as well. So these two are kind of interesting that you should all do. So the third one, oh, this is simply just a flat one, I suppose. You know, I don't think we want to go through all the tools. Of course, the circles, yeah, circles is really no big deal. You know, the circle in a very simple way, which is center and the radius. So, of course, I have a center just by clicking on the screen, but then next thing is you can actually click the radius and go and basically type in. So maybe I type in my radius as 50. Yeah, I don't know how big is 50 in terms of my skill. Maybe very tiny. It's not so tiny. So yeah, so I created a circle which with a radius of 50. So the next one is ellipse. Yeah, all of these are very straightforward. I can select the first two. Most of the symbols are very straightforward. They will tell you what's required. So the first one is asking at least the center and the two other points on the ellipse. So the center I can select it anywhere, and if you want your ellipse to sort of sit at horizontal rather than, you know, going this direction, what you need to do is press Control, right? So that it will snap to 90 degree. So I'll do this and basically click twice on the screen. That will give you an ellipse. So that's all of this for now for this lecture.